Welcome back to Star Wars Nerds Unite, a discussion and review podcast focused on the new Star Wars canon. We're back on track with comic books today, talking about Star Wars number 15.
You didn't even say what our name was.
I haven't gotten to that part yet. I am timvanautreve.
The name of the podcast.
And we are Star Wars Nerds Unite.
I think he said it.
I don't think he did.
Josh the Tosh Mason.
I thought you were done with that nickname.
Well, it's my fave, so whatevs. Andrea didn't send me one. A new one for this week.
What a failure.
Is the one questioning me about everything. Jennifer Van Ontreve, my wife, was the one that actually backed me up. Welcome back to the show.
Hi.
You guys ready to get back on track with comic books? I am. Star Wars number 15 by Jason Aaron and what was the other guy's name? Mayhew? Mike Mayhew. This story is back to Obi-Wan's journal. If we remember from our earlier Star Wars podcasts, there was one issue with Star Wars that showed us what Obi-Wan was doing while he was chilling with Luke on Tatooine. And this is a continuation of that story. So basically, Obi-Wan is in Tatooine, and Luke is flying around in the canyons and with his skyhopper, and accidentally bangs it up, and he doesn't have the money to fix it, and Uncle Owen is all kind of mad. So Luke or Obi-Wan decides to help Luke and makes a deal with the Jawas, defends them from an attack by the Sandwalkers.
The Sandwalkers?
What?
The Sand People.
Sand People, yeah. And they give them parts.
They surreptitiously give Luke parts.
Right, they give Luke parts. And then Owen finds out, throws him back in Obi-Wan's face, and we get his reasoning and some more excuses for why old Ben Kenobi never actually interacted and helped Luke.
Well, he helped him a lot behind the scenes. He just didn't train him in person.
Right, which we're finding out in this diary. But that was the synopsis of this comic. It was a one-and-done story, and...
It's not one and done.
Well, I mean... But it was a complete story contained in one issue.
Except they set up a follow-up issue.
But that doesn't make it not a one and done.
I thought a one and done is like it's a complete closure.
The story stands on its own.
But it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
They bring in the Black Wookiee right at the very end to go after
Kenobi. Jabba hires Black Chrysanthemum to go find Obi-Wan. So it sits on a cliffhanger.
It does sit on a cliffhanger.
Did you forget that
the rest of the story is a completed event.
So if we ignore part of the story,
you could complete the story in your mind if you don't pay attention to all of it.
Right.
Oh boy. I forget how big this Corellian Corvette was.
Well, it's very small compared to the Star Destroyer.
So Josh had a Star Destroyer, a gigantic Lego Star Destroyer for his bachelor party one year. That was what us nerds did for his bachelor party.
A Lego Star Destroyer.
Yeah, gigantic, huge, bigger than you can even imagine. And it had this little teeny Corellian Corvette with it.
For scale.
Yeah, and he left it at my house because he didn't really have anywhere to put it. And then he bought a house, and then I moved, and then he wanted it back, and I cried a little inside.
And outside.
Because, no, crying outside it's
only for your bad dreams.
I reclaimed it from old man's apartment.
Yeah, that's true. Because he kept it because I wanted it safer than the movers. And I didn't trust it in the cars and they were full and whatever. That was actually safer.
And it wasn't safe at all because old man destroyed it because he old man.
Did not take good care of it.
It's like, can you please take really special good care of this? Yeah. And then he takes it and like throws it in a garbage sack in the closet or something.
It was much more torn apart than when I gave it to him. It's true. Anyway, so I still had this little Corellian Corvette that went with it, but it was in pieces. And I had most of them in a baggie, and we were building it right up to when I hit the record button. That was a nice little aside, right?
It's almost done.
It is. Almost complete. So what do you guys think of this issue? Anything you want to directly speak about?
I really like them going back and telling these stories from this gap that have not been explored before. This was a lot different than the first one about Obi-Wan's time on Tatooine. The first one was really dark, and it seemed like Obi-Wan was just like tortured. Just not the story, but the art. Everything about the first one was darker, and it was kind of depressing, like really depressing. And this one, the art was very realistic. Their face is everything. It looks like the actors. And Obi-Wan was in much higher spirits in this one. And he was just kind of goofing around. I mean, making jokes to himself in his own journal. But I liked it. That Black Wookiee, he's a star. He's mean.
He's a star.
He just keeps coming up. He's just like a bad guy. He's bad.
He's a bounty hunter.
He's bad.
So bad.
I liked it. I thought they really portrayed Luke's goofiness, his like nerdiness as a child.
Yeah, he is. He's a super huge dork.
Yeah, dorkiness more than nerdiness.
Which is good characterization, because if you watch A New Hope, he is a super huge dork in that.
Yeah.
I like the art a lot too. And you talked about the first issue that they did one of these Obi-Wan flashbacks in the Star Wars series. That was by Simon Bianchi, and his art is dingy and dark. And this one was by a different artist who was a lot more photorealistic. Mm-hmm. There were some cases where he even digitized the backgrounds. Mm-hmm. Like he just took a photograph and then sort of drew some squiggles on it and put a little Photoshop filter on it and made it look like he had drawn it.
Which one?
There's a scene with Obi-Wan. I think it's Obi-Wan standing in front of a bunch of rocks. It's when he first starts to approach the sand people.
I like the panel with the snake on the rock. He was even kind of like joking around when Owen came to his door to kind of tell him off. He was like,
I don't see any of what you're mentioning.
Goofing around.
This one right here.
I don't necessarily like this art better. I did really like the first one with the dark feel, but it's really good too.
That's just a Photoshop filter with some squiggles on it over a real photograph.
A real photograph of what?
Rocks. Trust me.
I don't know if I can.
I like the way you did a lot of facial expressions. I mean, a lot of it is, I think, traced, but it is really good.
Some of it is good, and then others is not.
It's because he couldn't find as good a photo reference.
When I was little, I had a little Jawa toy.
You did? Like an action figure?
It was like, it had this little thingy. Like, I don't even know how to...
a string?
No, it was like a little plastic thing with like it was almost like a...
They have one of those rip cords.
Yeah, a rip cord. Like a serrated rip cord. Yeah. And you like stick it inside and then pull it out. And then I don't know if it made it spin or something or just go straight. But it had like the black face. And I think when you turned it different ways, it like had different images on the face.
Nice.
I haven't. I forgot I had
super descriptive.
Is it in your parents' attic?
Why is it super? Why'd you say that?
It's just super vague.
I didn't think it was that vague.
Yeah, I barely remember it. I forgot I even had it until I saw the Jawas in this issue.
Do you think...
It's like a burgundy cloak. It's about 2 inches tall. Hard plastic.
Do you think your parents have it in their attic?
Well, I don't think they threw it away. Or donated it to anyone, so it exists somewhere on some plane.
Her parents don't throw anything away. It's really funny. Their house is so cluttered. And then their attic, there's a missing window.
Oh my God.
Where any number of animals could have like just moved into that attic. So no one's allowed in the attic anymore.
Why do they have a missing window?
They just
It
never
got
fixed
broken, and then the animals took over before my dad could fix it. And he's given up. He's let them take over. I was looking for something for a party we were having for Labor Day. The girls wanted to wear like grass skirts and have like this luau. So we had some really nice grass skirts when I was a kid, like legit grass skirts. And so I had my daughter call my mom and ask where they were. And she was like, "Oh, I'm not sure. They're probably in the attic and we can't go in there." So that's that. So thanks for telling that story, because now people are going to think like...
Your parents are crazy.
Oh, well, they're going to think like, where did she come from?
They're going to think we're
already
dirtbags. Our house is like a surgery suite. There is no missing windows. What do you think of this issue, Mason?
I liked half of the art. The other half
I did. I mean, it was just very different than the last time. I thought it was... I really, really liked the first one where he was like so dark and tortured. But then it was kind of nice to see him a little happier in this one and not seem like he was about to kill himself. So, I don't know.
I feel like he still is kind of like that. He's just kind of overcompensating.
He made a comment about how he's really good at not dying.
Yeah.
I mean, he specifically said that.
I'm not saying he's like actually trying to kill himself, but he's depressed. And he's in a situation where even just the interaction with Owen, or gives him some form of pleasure because he has interaction with someone besides a dead snake in his hut. So,
he talks to Qui-Gon
yeah,
a
but
lot.
in the other issue, he was like making bones levitate, and that was like his
You're
entertainment.
still training.
Like, this is a lot. He's a lot more adjusted in this one.
I really liked Luke's teeth.
Yeah, he needs braces.
He does, but
if you look in the first one, he doesn't. Like, he looks normal. The very first time he smiles, he looks normal.
You can see he's got a jank tooth in the front. And he's got those weird teeth. He's got like an overbite where they go up and they get smaller in the back.
The following pictures, like, his teeth are really jacked up.
No, it's like the same.
No,
it's just from a different angle. Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. His teeth suck.
But it's an accurate drawing of a little kid. I think it really helps make him...
It just helps him. He's a dorky little farm kid.
Yeah. Who wants to fly.
You're trying to open...
I'm opening my mail. I'm multitasking.
Your whole family's mail.
Opening mail?
I was curious.
We're literally opening...
It's right in front of me.
Mail.
We're on the podcast. Is it from a fan?
It's from my house.
It's from this fan.
What is it for?
It's an invitation.
You're actually inviting us to his party this year?
I didn't invite anybody. I was just told to deliver this.
What is it?
It's an invitation.
Job is turning 4. Job is
What did you think this big Lego
I don't know. It could have been an invite to a Lego party Josh was throwing.
Yeah.
Like, come over and build Legos. Come build with us. Oh, it is a Lego party.
But it's for a 4-year-old.
Wow, you're so intuitive.
Are you going to actually have Legos there?
Yeah.
You're going to make little
Job and I
baggies?
made our own designed sets for people to build.
That's amazing.
Yep. We have Lego gummies.
Do you have them assigned to certain people?
Lego
like,
gummies.
Like
at Aiden's party?
Rando?
Except using molds that are true to form, not rectangles with circles on the top.
Fake Mega Block bullcrap.
We're having real Lego molds.
Right.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm excited about this party. I'm glad you opened that live on the air.
Yeah, on the air.
Yeah.
No one else is invited if you're listening. Don't tell them what day it is.
Sorry, guys.
So what else do we have to say about this issue? I would love more of these. I would read a whole series about this.
Yeah, I remember when we read the first one.
There's nothing else for him to do.
I remember. Well, now he has to fight the Black Wookiee.
Yeah, that'll happen, but he's not going to help Luke anymore.
I hate that he's stuck. He's stuck on Tatooine.
Yeah, he's stuck.
I remember
Such a
when we
waste.
read the first one, I can't remember if it was one of you or both of you, but you guys said there's not going to be any more about this. This is it.
So
no,
this-
that was Josh.
I think it was you.
So
You were
this
like,
is a
it's
year
one and
later
done.
from the last one in universe. And he does one thing and he gets shut down.
Yeah, Owen
Nothing happens
Owen was a real jerk.
When does Owen die?
in like 10 years
Oh,
in A New Hope.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Owen shows up and his real concern is Obi-Wan corrupting the boy and teaching him to be like his father.
Right, because he already got
Well,
his
no,
father
he
killed.
thinks that trouble follows Obi-Wan and he just doesn't want any trouble.
Well, he thinks trouble follows
Jedi.
Jedi in general and Anakin, and he doesn't want Luke to be anything like that. So he's trying to get him away from it, and he's acknowledging that he has a ton of that in him, but he doesn't want him to. Anywho,
Yeah, I would like more of these.
yeah. So
Well, maybe now that he can't like do anything, he'll start doing something like more interesting.
That makes no sense at all.
Now that he can't like keep trying to help Luke, maybe
But he's
he'll-
going to stay there to
I
protect
know
Luke.
he's gonna stay there. Maybe he.
But
starts
he's not gonna
something
do
new that you
anything.
never heard of.
yeah, I wish he would do something. It's such a waste of a great character. He could be with the rebels.
Could be, but he's not.
Yeah. So we have that scene at the end with Jabba's palace, which looks super cool.
Who is that droid?
Just a droid.
Yeah, that's his translation droid. And Chrysanthemum Black. Do you think he'll beat Obi-Wan?
No.
How many times is Chrysanthemum Black gonna get beat, do you think, before all said and done?
I don't know. I can't remember in the modern timeline where he is at this point.
Is he like the only evil Wookiee?
He's not evil. He's a bounty hunter.
He looks pretty evil, and he's got black fur.
There's lots of Wookiees with black fur. He's just a bounty hunter. Actually, I think we talk about him in the next episode.
All right, you guys ready to do listener letters?
We got to rate it. You have to go first so that you're not corrupted by my...
Okay. I really like this issue. I could read lots more. I'm gonna go 8 C's.
7.5.
I was going to say 7.5.
Ah, you always do that. You need to start going before me, so you're not
So I'm going to
corrupted.
say 7. I didn't like it as much as you liked it.
I
was
just was
fine.
excited to have an Obi-Wan story, but I don't like this as much as the first Obi-Wan. But I'm glad that they're going to keep at it.
I don't like how it constantly switched between narration and first person.
Oh, I love narration so much.
But just do narration. Or just do first person, not
I liked it.
switch back and forth 3 times in one panel.
But it makes sense. They do it with different colored word balloons and
I'm
stuff.
not saying it's hard to follow. It's just stupid.
It's not stupid.
I think it is.
Your face is stupid.
Oh,
There it is.
there it is.
Won an argument, finally.
Yeah.
Well,
First letter by Rob Finn Dyson.
ooh, you got it right
Thank
first
you.
time.
He says, question for Jen.
Uh-oh. I don't think I saw this.
Harkening back to the early episodes where you rated the comics based on their hair,
Oh.
who has the best and worst hair in the current canon? Vaude.
Good. Best and worst hair in the current canon.
Should we read the next letter? There's going to be a lot of dead air while she thinks about this.
All right, I'll think about it while you read another one.
Okay.
Best? Okay, well, I just have to say worst hair. Obviously.
Black Chrysanthemum.
No.
Chrysanthemum Black.
What's his name from the Rogue One trailer? Before he got the hair change.
Your favorite actor?
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker before he got the updo. That's the worst hair. Best hair, if you're talking about the whole canon, the best hair is
Queen Amidala.
no, is Princess Leia from the comics, not from the movies.
Really?
And Rey's hair, I mean, she's purposely like super plain Jane. Her hair is nothing. I mean, they could make her hair, like if they took her to Coruscant or something, they could like do her all up and her hair would be great. But right now, she's just
Her
plain
hair's a
Jane.
lot like yours.
I'm saying that they don't have her style it. She lives in a desert, so it's just like in weird knots. So that's not like anything special. But she has potential. Hair potential.
All right, Rob. There's your answer. Moving on to I See Spidey. He says more inconsistency from Marvel Comics. This one's going to be a good
Did
one
he
for
find another
Josh to respond to.
lightsaber hilt?
No, this one is an antenna, his other passion. What's up,
My
nerd?
passions are antennas and lightsaber hilts.
Sounds like a full and complete life to me. What's up, Nerd Squadron? Nerd6 signing in. I would say that the Millennium Falcon is one of the most iconic and recognizable starships of all time. Below is a picture of it from episode 6. I agree with you on all counts. During episode 6, Lando Calrissian took the controls of the Falcon as Gold Leader, while Han Solo was on the forest moon of Endor deactivating the shields of the Death Star 2, so Lando could fly in and blow it up. We all know the mission was successful, but as Calrissian was exiting the Death Star as it was exploding around him, he clipped the radar dish of the Falcon and it got torn off. 30 years later, we see the Falcon again in episode 7 with a rectangular radar dish to replace the previous round one. Below is from episode 7. The comic book series Han Solo by Marjorie Liu and Mark Brooks takes place between episodes 4 and 5. Below is a picture of the cover of issue 3.
What are you reading? Where are you seeing these words?
Right here.
In the email, in the body
All I
of the
see
email.
is just this huge image, and I'm.
Well, I have,
You have this email memorized?
yes.
Okay.
I always memorize Icy Spidey's emails.
Okay.
He says, and it's a cover of Han Solo flying the Falcon, and there's a image of the Falcon with a rectangular radar dish.
Uh-oh.
He says, so why is the radar dish rectangular and not circular? Marvel just keeps dropping the ball, or radar dish in this case. What do you think about this? Thoughts?
I'm sure they told the person to make it look like a new one. So that
They probably sent the artist a letter and directly a very specific directive to make it rectangular.
They did do that with Scotty.
I know, that's the joke.
Oh.
That's what we're talking about.
I'm just telling you.
my guess is they're going for marketing synergy.
To make sure it looks like the one that's on the toy shelves right now.
Yeah.
It's very possible. Maybe
I can
maybe
just
they're
see
showing-
him.
As long as the inside of the comic is accurate, we've already established
The
that the
covers
front
don't
of the
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
they might as
This
well
is
just
Josh's
put
pet peeve.
Dancing with the
He can't-
Stars on the cover.
We could also.
It doesn't matter what's on the cover. I See Spidey. It means nothing. They could just draw stick figures.
Right.
I can just imagine him like walking past this issue in the comic store and then like
doing a double
jerking
take.
backwards and being like, "Oh no, they did it!"
They did it.
and just flinging the rack down, going crazy.
So I'm gonna say that because of the way that this fades in and out, the cover was going for a generations thing, and since the Falcon is such a character in and of itself, that we're seeing a Han, vibrant young Han, and then an older Falcon as another character.
Oh, that is a bunch
present
of
day.
crap.
Right.
That's not what they meant.
That's something
I think
somebody who had
they just weren't
messed
paying
up
attention,
would
and
try
the
and
person that
BS
made
to
this
say-
looked at the newer images as a reference on when they were making this cover, and they didn't even know that it had been changed.
Oh, they knew.
Yeah, they.
You think the artist knew?
If they didn't,
Yeah.
the editors would have had them change it.
Right.
So you think it
That
was
is
like
the shape
purposeful?
that Lucasfilm wanted it to be.
Okay.
Next up, we have one from Andrea. She says, "Hi, SWNU. What are your thoughts on Poe being force sensitive? He showed some crazy moves against the First Order when they fought on Takodana. It just seemed very young Anakin to me. Also, hey, what about a young Anakin TV series like they did a young Indiana Jones?
No.
Also, Leia might sense his abilities, which is why she sent him on the super important mission to get the data on Luke's whereabouts. I wonder how many younger Force-sensitive characters we'll be meeting since the Jedi aren't actively recruiting and identifying them. Hope you're having a great day. I am having a great day. Because I'm podcasting with my best friends.
This is an example where I can... You have this vision of the universe. And
Who,
we can
Tim
either...
does or Andrea?
Andrea. And it's a perfectly good vision of the universe.
But Josh
And we
can
can
just
either
crush
spoil it and crush your soul, or we can not say anything and allow you to have your happy little vision of the universe. So we'll crush your soul.
Oh my gosh.
It's not really a choice. I mean, crushing your soul was really the only option out there.
Right. He's not force sensitive. But he did grow up next to a force sensitive tree.
Indeed he did.
Yeah, that was in one of our previous
Yep.
episodes.
Shattered Empire.
Shattered Empire.
And so his mother was a very good pilot, and he grew up next to the force tree.
That Luke gave her.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just real lucky. Or the Force is watching over him still or something.
Yeah, but he's not like
Force
exceedingly
sensitive.
force sensitive.
He doesn't have it in his veins. Like
Leia
his
trusts him
DNA.
so much because of all the previous missions.
And she knew his parents.
Right.
Yeah.
He's done numerous missions at this point, including his comic book series, which she, it leads
Recruited
into
him.
Right, him going to go find Lower Santeca, which is before the Takodana thing. Well, she's saying Luke's whereabouts, so maybe she's read that comic. I don't know. But in the book, it elaborates. He's been around for a while in the Resistance, and he's very trusted.
I don't think we're going to meet that many more Force-sensitive people. I get the feeling, in order to maintain that being Force-sensitive is rare, they can't just show us them.
I think that they will have like a comic series leading up to episode 8 that explores Luke going out and looking for Force-sensitive people. Because I think episode 8 will cover that. Like, it'll be a big part of his story arc.
Like what he's been doing all this time.
And his remorse for how
he failed.
Yeah. So either there's going to be a book or a comic book that covers that in some detail.
You think it'll be before episode 8?
Yeah, it'll be a lead into episode 8 because it won't reveal anything big. It'll just give more background when he explains how Kylo Ren killed all of his apprentices.
What? Spoilers.
I mean, we saw it in episode 7.
We inferred.
So
that
it'll
that's what
show
we were saying.
like how he found all these Force-sensitive kids and then how he brought them together.
Right.
And then how they were slaughtered in front of him.
And maybe
then
a little
how
bit of
how
insight.
he's like, well, I'm glad I rounded them up and got them all in one place.
Right.
Now we're doomed.
Next episode, or next issue, letter. God, am I having a stroke?
Yeah.
Next letter is from Peter. Peter Reinerd. He says, SWNU crew. I'm loving the podcast and have been listening for about a year now. This is the first time he's emailed in, right?
Yeah.
Yay.
I also found the show on Podcast Addict as the #1 search result for Star Wars. That's good news.
You
I
said
didn't
that
realize
really
that.
weird.
Yeah.
I know.
You made it sound like it was Star Whores instead of Star Wars.
We're going to have to edit this episode
Yeah.
now.
Thanks.
Weird.
Thanks, Jenny.
Well, you said it.
Addict, as in Star Wars. Usually I don't read the books and comics, but just listen to the synopsis you guys give, with the exception of Lost Stars. You've made me more smarterer in the world of Star Wars stuffs. Huh. I'm not the only one that makes up words and says things funny. Thanks, Peter. I have a Science Corner question for Josh. I know warm water freezes faster than cold water, but why?
That's not it's not really a thing.
I've always heard that too.
There's experiments you can run where it will freeze faster, but only on like the periphery. So the main one that people talk about is like where you take the cup of water and you throw it up in the air when it's really cold outside.
Well, I did it in my enriched like 5th grade class. We took certain temperatures of water and we put them in the freezer and then we pulled them out and saw which ones were frozen, and the hot ones were more frozen than the other ones.
Right. It has to do with kinetic energy and the I can't think of the word. It's not specific
thermal?
heat. It's the rate at which it rejects heat. And I can't remember what it's called. I'm not a mechanical engineer. So this one I'm going to fail you on, and I did no research for it.
Great.
I haven't even read this email before.
Great.
I'll get back to you on the next one.
Oh, geez. Sorry, Peter.
You stumped him first time. Good
You
job.
got to ask me
Physics you got to
and
ask him
electrical
questions that are easy that he already knows.
not thermodynamics.
I thought this was an easy one. This is one that like my kids do science experiments
But
on.
then what's the answer?
I have no idea. I don't remember. They
That's
told me
right.
and I thought it was a bunch of bull hockey. But I also thought that plasma hitting the side of a starship would actually make noise inside of a starship.
That wasn't the question.
I know. Was it not?
No, it was would plasma flying next to a starship make a noise?
No, it was when it hit it. That's
no,
what we were talking about.
It wasn't.
Okay.
I promise you.
Okay.
I specifically said in the response to that if it did hit it, it would make noise, but that was not the question
All right.
posed.
Okay. All right. Anyway, he says, thanks for taking the time to read this. Keep up the good work. Peter, you've done it. You finally defeated him. Peter Reinard. He gave me his pronunciation in the bottom. Yeah, we get a lot of listeners from Podcast Addict too. So they like us, and I never even did anything to get them to do that. Next letter is from John J. Best. He says, SWNU crew, I have to chime in on the Science Corner responses. First, regarding the sound of a blaster hit on a starship. While I agree that externally to the targeted ship there would be no sound, internally I believe you would. The impact of the plasma should be capable of vibrating the hull and transferring the energy to the interior air of the ship, creating sound.
Right. So, John, I would encourage you to go back and listen to that episode. That was not the question.
I think it was.
It wasn't. I promise you it was. I'm going to go find it.
Okay,
Just
you go
to-
find it. I would rather you were Googling the answer to Peter's poor Peter's question, rather. Continuing on with John J. Best, I actually agree with John. I think that once it would have to transfer because the vibration would transfer.
I've already
in, which
answered
would
that.
Then
I said if it hit the craft, it would make a noise.
maybe
There's no doubt about it.
We'll have to go check the tapes. Regarding eye versus ear, the primary difference is the medium band mechanism of wave motion. Sound is the result of physical particle waves moving through a fluid, notably air or water, and detected mechanically. Sight is based on electromagnetic energy where no physical medium exists. I thought there was photons. And is detected
are
through
photons.
non-mechanical means. But
Photons do not need a media to transfer through.
but photons, I thought they were physical.
They are.
Yeah, but he said it was no physical medium. Okay. He says non-mechanical. It is my understanding that sight receptors respond to energy contained in specific wavelengths of light/electromagnetic spectrum. Upon reception of a photon packet of a correct frequency, sight receptors will transmit a neural response. What do you think about all that, Jenny?
I think he sounds right about the hearing and vision.
Yeah, he was saying the difference between the two, which Josh had said that
I
they're
know.
basically the same.
No, he didn't.
Oh, somebody did.
No.
No,
letter?
that was the question.
Oh,
In the email, he said, "Aren't they?"
Here we go. Here's a Science Corner question from Rob Findison.
Van Dyson.
That's what I said. I just said it in the proper way, at the proper speed, not like I'm a 3-year-old.
Zing.
One complaint I've heard about Star Wars is that there's no sound in space line regarding the blasters in the space battle. While this has not bothered me with any science fiction media, it made me wonder, would a mass of superheated plasma traveling at high velocity that comes into close proximity of the fuselage of a craft create enough of a disturbance in said structure that a sound or vibration might be heard or felt by the occupants?
Oh my gosh, I got served.
And so did John Best.
Keep up the good work. May the force be with you, he says.
May the force be with you.
John J. Best, I'd like you to sign your emails John J. Best, Peoria.
PIA, in parentheses.
Oh, right. Nerd Squadron. The next letter, should we save this for the next episode?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to save this letter. This is literally my favorite letter. So stay tuned for the next episode for the best letter that's ever come to Star Wars Nerds Unite. That's it for today. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Did you hear that? We're doomed.
This podcast is a part of the BenView Network.
You can find this and other podcasts like it at benviewnetwork.com.